Hi Moonbeams, it's Nikki T here at Moonchild Tarot with the second part to my collection series. So these are my oracle decks and there are some tarot in there as well. So there's some indie and some kind of collectible tarot in there. So I am going to use the format of would I rebuy. So I'm going to go through each one and say would I rebuy. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So firstly, I got some oracle decks that I haven't had chance to work with yet, and I just thought I would mention them. First being the Halloween oracle. So I am going to spend some time with this, preferably probably from September onwards. I'm going to spend some time with this and the other two. They came today. I have the Dark Magic oracle. Sorry, not got my teeth in today. The Dark Magic oracle, and I love that. And that is all like lovely gilding and photography kind of style. And then the last one is by the same creator. So this is Fiona Horn. And the next one is the Magic of You oracle as well. So I'm looking forward to doing some kind of deep work with this. And yeah, it's not gilded. I was a bit like, oh, this one's not gilded. So I'm going to have to maybe edge it myself. Maybe in a nice green, because I think that'll work. In a nice like deep green like this. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. Is photography, but it's been more manipulated. So they are the decks. I'm not going to comment on them because I haven't really had a lot of time to work with them. So we'll move on to the two decks the first two decks are decks that I've been using this month. And this is the Tell Me You Love Me oracle. And I have to be wary with this because there are a few chesticles and a few naked bits in there, so I have to be careful. So this is a deck I would repurchase again. I do like this, even though it's more geared towards love reading. I tend to use it more just as taking the keywords and the oracle, and it is really, really I mean, we're all right with man chesticles, but not with ladies chesticles. It is, you know, the keywords and the phrase. I think it is a really reliable reader on most of the readings I've done with it. I love his facial expression. Is like, how dare you? There, I really like. I'm not a fan of. I'm not really drawn to historical decks. I'm not really drawn to like found art decks. I'm more of a modern person. I like how they've added like the modern elements in it. I like this kind of style that it's all collaged together and they've got the tattoos and things like that. So I would purchase this again, definitely. I'm just trying to make sure I don't show any banned pictures. It is a really good deck. I find it likes reading on relationships. It's a relationship deck, but it kind of likes reading towards kind of friendship and things like that as well. And I found that this month it's really, really like been very accurate with its readings and its kind of overall message. I tend to not look at the guidebook with this because it's I don't feel like, because it's more geared towards relationships, I don't feel like romantic and things like that. I don't feel like it I need to kind of go down there. I just use it as a straight kind of oracle, but I do love it. I do love the images. And yeah, so this is the Tell Me You Love Me oracle, and I love the gilding, and it's just, yeah, it's very, very nice. There is a French version that has got gilding around, like a border around it, and that's beautiful, but I'm happy with the mass market version, the English version. Next one is my Fairies Oracle. I've even got the book on my desk at the moment because I've been using it. This is by Brian Froud, and I have to be careful with this deck. I would rebuy this again. It's Brian Froud, it's fairies. I think this is as close as I get to kind of nature and like fayish type. Oh, it would go on all the raunchy pictures. But I love it. I do think it's very good. It's a very good reader. It can be a bit mysterious at times, but then it usually just all comes out in the wash. It has a little bit of a personality of its own, this deck. It doesn't like me, it doesn't want me to kind of side by side shuffle it. It wants me to handle it very delicately. But I do love it. It isn't the best cardstock, but I can forgive that for the fact that it's a very, very extensive deck. I mean, there's about 60 cards, and there's a big, massive, fat guidebook with it. Like a huge guidebook. So I love it, and I will be using it a lot more this coming month and maybe into the next. So that is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. I would love the other. I know he's done another oracle, but I think that's really, really difficult to find. But I'm happy with this. There. Let's move on to some more decks. Next up, we have my Pocket Urban Crow Oracle. This is by MJ Cullinane. I would repurchase this. Again, I do love this deck. I think it's a really good clarifier. I think the keywords are great. The artwork is great. The getting it over from America is a bit of a stress and a bit of a strain. This is on the really good cardstock. It's like really shuffleable. And yeah, I love this. I'm not getting rid of it. I would rebuy it. I definitely would repurchase it. I probably would wait a while because, you know, getting decks from MJ from obviously the US and I'm in the UK, I would have to add more on to make it worth my while. So I'd probably, you know, bundle it up and do it for like a Christmas gift or something. This was my Christmas gift a couple of years ago to myself, so I definitely would repurchase it. It's 80 cards. It's so chunky, and I don't shouldn't call it chunky, but and the artwork is so evocative. I get so much from the keyword, the artwork, everything. It is just, and it's so like, the cardstock is absolutely fantastic. I've heard that some of their newer decks are on a bit of a more cardboardy cardstock. I love this cardstock. It's really, really good quality. So yeah, so that is the Urban Crow Pocket Oracle, and he lives in this little bag that I made. Right, next one is my Seasons of the Witch. Not Seasons of the Witch. Apologies. Solitary Witch. As you can see, I've edged it and I have trimmed this. So I've trimmed the borders off this and I trimmed a bit of the bottom because it was a biggish deck and I struggle with my hand strength and my mobility to be able to shuffle bigger decks. So I did a trim job, and then I edged it in this silver. And I do now, I probably would repurchase it. I would probably wait. I don't think I'd be rushing to get this straight away, but I think I would repurchase this. Definitely this is a winter, you know, autumn, winter, you know, when the nights draw in deck. I think the guidebook is really pertinent, really perceptive, really beautiful. And I think the guidebook, you know, this is a deck where you need to take in the guidebook with it. It's not a deck where you can just kind of, I feel like you could just pick up and read straight away. I think it's one that you can meditate with and spend time with and contemplate, and definitely it is a really nice addition to my collection. So I probably would repurchase this. Yeah, so that is the Solitary Witch Oracle. I keep it in this bag. Now let's take a tarot, and this is the Raven's Dream by MJ Cullinane. I bought this with the Urban Crow at the same time, again on this beautiful, like, it just shuffles really well, this cardstock. It's not too thick, it's good quality. I've dinged one of these cards with my chair, and I don't know which card it is. I can't tell kind of the difference. I love this. I think it's just it is a bit on the bigger side, saying I don't like decks that are big, but I can shuffle this quite easily. I think it's just about the right, it's kind of oracle size, so it's just about the right sizes where I can shuffle it. And I just love this artwork. This is as close to a nature deck as I really get. I like the fact that the crow is throughout them all. I don't gravitate towards a nature deck, so I don't really gravitate towards nature decks, but the ones that I've seen where there's lots of different animals, I can't really do that. I think it'd have to be like either a cat deck or a dog deck or one specific animal there, in terms of kind of moving towards like nature decks and things. This is about as naturey as I get there, and it's just a wonderful deck. Yes, I would rebuy it again if it was on the newer cardstock. I might think twice, but I do love this deck. I do think it is fantastic, and I've had some really amazing readings with this deck, and I really enjoy the imagery of it. I feel like this is a step up from the Crow Tarot. So I've got the Crow Tarot as well. That was in my, I'll link it down below, my mass market tarot would I rebuy video. And I feel like this is a step up, that this is, the artwork is just speaks to me a little bit more, and I really enjoy it, and I love the interpretations that she's done. I do love her work. I think she's really good, but I much prefer a kind of crows and stuff like that. If it's got the crows in, it's got me. So yeah, so this is the Raven's Dream Tarot. So this is one of my indie, I don't have many indie decks, one of my indie tarot decks that I have, and at the moment I do need to get a maker bag for it, but it's in this at the moment. So, next up we got the Green Witch Oracle. That's one. That was one of my cards of the week last month. So I do love this deck. I don't use it as often as I would like to. I do like it as kind of connecting into nature. Probably is because it's a very naturey deck, and I don't really connect into it as much. Would I rebuy? I don't know. I think I would take my time in rebuying it. I love it. I love the energy. It's not going anywhere, but I don't know whether I would rebuy it. I mean, one reason is the I'm sorry if you can hear people shouting. My son's on his computer game and he's getting quite vocal. So yeah, I don't know whether I would repurchase this. I mean, I would cut the border. I am, thinking about cutting the borders off, because it does seem like there's a lot of space, like empty space there already. And I do like the mess, I do like it. It's a good reader. It's, it's a good deck. And I got this quite early on into my kind of when I started buying decks and learning what I liked and what I gravitated towards and things like that. And yeah, I do like it. I don't think I would be rushing to repurchase it. I think there would be other decks, like I'm looking at Runes and Roots, that Oracle deck, I think, or other decks that connect in with like herbology or things like that maybe would be better than this. But I will still use it. I still will keep it. I'm no intention of getting rid of it. I just don't think I would probably rebuy it. I wouldn't be in a rush to rebuy it. So that is the Green Witch, and it's housed in this little green bag. Now the next one is a mini deck, and this is the Demon of the Day. I was fortunate that my beautiful friend got me this as a gift. This, I don't use it as often as I should do. And the fact that, and this is by Travis McHenry, who I have another one of his decks. I have the Vlad Dracula tarot. I don't use it. I don't tend to gravitate towards using this. Maybe I need to have it there as a conscious effort when it gets darker, when it goes into the dark half of the year, and try and use it. I think, though, the fact that there isn't a guidebook with it to give you more information, I want to know about all of these demons. I want to know more about them. And the message is good, it's clear, and but I want to know more about the demons. And yes, I could research and I could look and stuff, but I'd love to have it in like a guidebook somewhere. I don't think I would if it was a full size deck with a comprehensive guidebook, then maybe I would repurchase it. Not that I purchased it in the first place, but would I go out and repurchase this? I wouldn't in a hurry. But if it had if it was a full Oracle and it had the guidebook to go with it, I think I probably would be more tempted there. But it is a good little Oracle, and it does, it does what it says on the tin. So that is the Demon of the Day. It's just I don't tend to gravitate towards these small decks, and yeah, that will become apparent in a little bit. Next up, we've got the Goddess of the Sun Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. As you know, I love Stacey DeMarco decks. I bought this after I already had the Goddess of the Moon Oracle, and would I rebuy this? I think I would. If I was replenishing my collection, I would buy the Moon Oracle first, and then I would buy this. I think, some of it can get a little bit of the same message in the Moon as the Sun Oracle, or the same kind of keywords, but I think there's enough difference in here that I can kind of get on with it. And I do love the imagery. I love the imagery. I love there's something about her artwork and her decks that just speaks to me, and I do really, really enjoy this. I think I enjoy the Moon Oracle much more than I do the Sun. I do have to sit more, I think, and spend some dedicated time with the guidebook with this. But it is a really intuitive reader. I feel like I can read it quite well without that, and that's my favorite card in this deck, as well as the kind of Phoenix card. I do really like it. Yes, I probably would repurchase that, and it's housed in this little bright rainbow bag. Moving on to another tarot. This is another indie tarot, and this is the Somnia Tarot. And would I repurchase this? Yes, in a heartbeat. I love it. I think this is such an amazing deck. I've not picked up all the cards there. This is such an amazing deck. I just think it is so haunting, so beautiful. I love the fact that you can't see the faces, because for me, I struggle with faces and I struggle with people being too peoply. I can see this as an altered dimension or a different world to our everyday. I really struggle with the decks that are very much like everyday people look like they would in everyday life. I want a little bit of it needs to be a little bit of an escape. And I just love it. It is such a good, it's just an ingenious deck. And it is very close to Rider-Waite-Smith, enough for you to get it, but then there's other layers that you can get as well. And it's just, again, this was my birthday, this was my Christmas present this year, and I was very fortunate to get this, and I love it. I mean, yeah, I love that. The Four of Swords is one of my trigger cards. Whenever I get it, I roll my eyes because it's always telling me I need a rest. And yeah, I love this one, being pinned down by it. And it's just really his hands tied behind his back. It's just got some really ingenious little touches to it, and I do want to get the Oracle as well, but I'm gonna have to wait to get them and save up. But yeah, so this is the Somnia Tarot, and it is housed in this blue and gold bag. Next up is the Season of the Witch Samhain Oracle, and I've got to say, as much as I use this quite a lot early on into discovering oracles, and I enjoyed it, I don't think I'll repurchase it. I think the words at the bottom sometimes are really a bit confusing. You have to kind of go to the, there's no keywords with some of them. Like with intuition, that's obvious, but then with frog, you're not sure. So you'd have to kind of look at the guidebook, and yeah, you could put your own keyword on and everything and cut these out. I do like the imagery. I do much prefer this artwork over all of the other. I know that this artist has done the Yule Oracle as well, but I think I much prefer this style of artwork over the others. But I love my winter tarot, so that's weird, but I do love just the images on this is really, really good. I just don't reach for it. I don't gravitate towards it, and I think had it have a few keywords on there instead of the kind of the poem or something, I think I might get on with it a little bit easier than what I do now. And I don't think I've got other oracles that would do a similar that are there for a similar purpose and might give me more, if you know what I mean. So I don't think I would repurchase this. I love the winter tarot, but I just don't get on with I don't get on with the Seasons of the Witch kind of oracles. I just don't gravitate towards them because of the experience I've had with this one is, I don't get it. Next one, this is in a non-Nikki bag, and this is the Goddess of the Moon. This has been used. This has been like used a lot. I love this oracle. This is one of my favorite oracles. If I'm needing just something very, very like quick, I know what it is, I know what it means to me, I can just go to this. This is like my Tarot of the Abyss in terms of oracle decks. This is my comfort oracle. This is one of my comfort oracles. I've got two, and I love it. And I just think the artwork is fantastic. It does really speak to me. The keywords are great. And yeah, it's just, I love it. And it just, something within the imagery just speaks to me, and I love reading with this. I really, really do love reading with this deck. And it is one of my favorites. So this is one of the decks that I would quite happily repurchase very, very quickly. Again, this one is not edged, so I should really edge it, but yeah, it has been. You can see from the sides, it's been used quite a lot. It's had a good shuffle. Yeah, I just keep it in this moon makeup bag. Right, next one is my Witches Oracle. So this is the Oracle of the Witch. Again, this was a gift from my beautiful, beautiful friend. And I love this colour scheme. I love the black, the red, everything. I do think it's really, really good. I've read with it really well. I do enjoy this deck. I think I don't use it as often as I would like to. I think I would probably gravitate to this oracle more than the Seasons of the Witch oracle. I would probably use this oracle over that, and that's why I wouldn't repurchase that, and I would use this instead. I just think it's just, the imagery is so evocative. It does speak to me. You know, it's the black, the red, and the like grayscale of it all. I love it. And yeah, I just think the imagery really is very clear, and I love that card. It just, yeah, it's got a mixture of feminine and masculine in as well, so it's not just an all-female deck. And I really do like it. And the book is so comprehensive. It's got quite a lot in. It's got some very good, you know, rituals and work and information in. So yeah, I think I would, chesticles again. I would definitely purchase this. If I had to redo my collection, and it's in this witch's bag, I definitely would. That would be one I would repurchase. Now, moving on. So I've got a deck here that is no longer in print. This was the second deck I ever bought. This is the Mystic Dreamer Tarot. I have the guidebook, but I don't have the box for it. And I'm gonna probably keep it as a keepsake of, you know, this deck, you went to parties with me and did quite a lot of readings there. It is a very traditional RWS when I didn't even know what an RWS was. As you know, or you might know, I had my first deck was Bob, who's here, and he was a pip deck, so I struggled. And then after a couple of years of using Bob and, you know, learning, I picked this up, and that really is when my reading really elevated, and I could start reading the imagery, reading everything, you know, not just going to the guidebook all the time. I was finding that I could, you know, look at the image and read from there, and it definitely helped with my memory, because these were so closely associated to the RWS. And the guide, well, the book that I had, the Tarot Bible, was RWS as well. I could make that link, and it really helped, like, consolidate remembering it. It is a very cheesy kind of early 2000s Photoshop job, but it is of its time. It kind of reminds me of the Thelema Tarot as well, but a bit brighter. I should read with this more. I might read with this for occasion. Would I rebuy this now? No. Will I keep this in my collection? This is not leaving because of the sentimental value I have with it. I do really, really like this deck, but things like the border, you know, the big thing, like, I want the image, I want the whole image, I want to be able to see it. I'd need my magnifying glass now to be able to kind of see stuff. But when I was in my mid-20s, I could, you know, I had better eyesight. Yeah, so this is the Mystic Dreamer. And as I said, yeah, I've not got the book for it. I mean, look at that strength. Love that. I haven't got the book for it. Well, no, I have the book. I don't have the box. I made the cardinal sin, and I got rid of the box years and years ago. And I've just put it back into my collection because it was gathering dust in my Crow Tarot box for ages. Let's move on to another oracle. This is you can see all the different bags with the different colours. This is the Dark Goddess Oracle. So it's this one, that's the guidebook. Now the guidebook is piddly. I'm sorry, I wanted to know more about the goddesses in these cards. It is a beautiful looking deck, and I use this. I don't use this as an oracle deck. I use these as kind of altar cards. I use these for, you know, what goddess do I need to take into my deck? I don't use it as a traditional oracle. I do link it with my, my Tarot of the Abyss, because this works so well with the Tarot of the Abyss. I do like a goddess reading, but I usually use this as a way of, you know, if I have an energy that comes in and I want to work with that goddess, I will use, say, Athena. My daughter gravitates towards Athena. I would kind of put it up and I would work there and use it there. I have some of these on, so if anyone knows the deck, you might be able to spot which ones are missing. I have some of them on my altars already, and I'm not going to show my altars because they're kind of private for me. But yeah, so I do like that it's a breadth of different goddesses. It's not just Norse and Celtic and Greek and Roman. Excuse me. But I would have liked the guidebook to be a bit more comprehensive and everything. It does give you a little overview, but I would just love to have more, because I'd want to learn about all these amazing goddesses and all of their energy. Maybe that's a bit greedy of me, but yeah. So yeah, so this is the Dark Goddess Oracle deck, which I don't really use as an oracle. Would I repurchase? No, I wouldn't repurchase this, because I think, you know, spending £17 on some altar cards is a little bit expensive, because that's what they are. What I use them for, I use them as altar cards. It's a little bit expensive. So in the future, I would not repurchase that deck again. Now, the next one is another Stacey DeMarco. This is the Deep, Dark and Dangerous. And again, I love this deck. It's just, the artwork just speaks to me. I love using this. This has really gives some really good readings, and it really likes going into like the hidden depths. I do a hidden depths reading when there's an issue and I want to get kind of right down to the nitty gritty of things, or to like the core of things. I will bring this out as well, and I will use it with my Deviant Moon. So these talk very well. This talks very well with the Deviant Moon Tarot. And I just love it. It is dark without being too dark. It's got lots of things that I didn't know about. And like, I didn't know what a fetch was until I got this oracle. And yeah, I love it like that. For vengeance, like, look how powerful. And I really do like it. It is a really, really good deck. And, you know, images like that. Medusa. The Morrigan. This is one of my favourites. My favourite card, because, you know, you love a vampire. I love the vampires. I love this. Like, yeah. Vampire for the hunger. Yeah. So would I repurchase this? Yes, I would repurchase this. This is going to be kind of a staple for working in October, November, kind of that time there. And yeah, it's in this red and black bag. Now, the next one is a 2-for-1, because I keep it in this. This was one of the first bags that I created, and it's quite thick and quite kind of bad. This stays on my desk. So these are my Moonology decks. So let's move that one there. So this is the Moonology messages, and I don't get on with this as well as the other deck that I'm going to show. It does work. It does read very well. It is intuitive. I think the way that the artwork is quite simple. I think if you don't want something too overstimulating, that's good. But I love reading. I love reading into the artwork. I love looking at artwork. So I think that this can be a little bit on the simpler side for me there. So I don't gravitate to this one as much as I do the others. This is probably out of the, and I've not got the Dark Moon, because I won't buy the Dark Moon because it's got AI in it. So yeah, a lot of you know my stance on it. I'm not putting my money into it. That's it. But I think this would be, you know, the third one. There are two others that I like better than this. There. I do like that one though, because I'm a Capricorn. Yeah. And we're stubborn. Yeah. And it's cut your losses. Well, that's Aries, isn't it? Yeah. But it gives me stubborn Capricorn vibes, that one. Yeah. You know, one thing about wronging a Capricorn is they never forget. I'm sorry. But yeah, I do like it. It does read well. Would I rebuy this? No, I wouldn't rebuy this. I think this was a gift anyway when I left teaching, but I wouldn't rebuy it. I wouldn't go out and rush to re-get this. I think there's other oracles that do the same job as this one. On that note, I'm going to move on to my next one, which is the Moonology Manifestations. And yeah, you might think, oh, the artwork is just the same. It's simple. I get on with this so much better than the other deck. I would repurchase this in a heartbeat. This and the Goddess of the Moon Oracle. They are out and out the first two oracles I would rebuy. I love this. It always has a message and it's always really, really perceptive, and I love it. And I just work with it. It just really works. And the phrases on it and the statements, and then it's got like full moon in Sagittarius. Like, you can add all the astrology into it. You can just use it from the thing, trust the universe. You know, Aquariuses, they're rebels, they're deep, they're like thinking, they're like going against the grain, going against, you know, tradition and things, like a bit rebellious, you know, so you could use that. Trust that you're being a rebel and that's good. You're shaking things up, you know what I mean? So it can really get some deep readings, and I just love the artwork. There's something about this artwork that really works, and the messages work, and I just really feel connected to this deck. I have a really good connection with this deck, and it is like it's been bowed from being you know, it's been used. It's, you know, it's a bit bowed from shuffling all the time and things like that. So definitely the Moonology Manifestations I would repurchase. Then the last of the Moonology is the original Moonology. Now you'll have to forgive the state of this one. This was a friend had got a new copy of hers and passed this one on to me, and it's a really good shuffle because it's been broken in, but it is seen better days. This is the original Moonology, and I think this is second. Would I rush out to repurchase? I've actually got this on my wish list, and I have the intention of purchasing a new copy of it. I don't know whether I'd use it, so I don't know whether I would repurchase it. There's always new decks that come in where I'd go, oh, well, am I going to want to buy this? Definitely, I know that I would buy the Manifestations again. I just love that deck, but I don't know whether I would rush out to repurchase this. Yeah, it's good. It goes clear messages. It's really straightforward. It's, you know, clear. I just think I want more with the artwork. I want a little bit more there with the artwork personally. So I don't know whether I would repurchase this, and maybe because the person who gave me this is no longer kind of speaking to me. I don't know whether there's you know, some kind of, yeah, can you have a negative attachment with the deck because that person's giving it you? I don't know. Answers in the comments. But I don't think I would use it enough to warrant repurchasing. So this is the original Moonology. Yeah, she's seen better days, bless her. There. Another mini deck. We're on the mini, like the Demon of the Day. This is the Avalon Magic. I do like it. It's cool. It's got the messages on the back. Would I rebuy this? I don't think I use it enough to warrant me rebuying it. I think with these mini decks, because you have to have either the message there or the image there, I kind of struggle with that. I could probably write something or a keyword on it, but there's no guidebook for it. I think this is a mini version of another Oracle. So I could have a look at that, but again, I don't know whether I'm quite as drawn to the artwork as, I mean, I love that one. I'd love a whole dragon deck like that, but I don't know. I don't know whether I use that kind of type of like Avalon kind of mythos. I don't know whether I use that enough to be able to warrant repurchasing. I wouldn't repurchase it in this format. I would probably look at the original Oracle that the artwork is kind of based on and maybe have a look from there, but I probably would not repurchase it. Is it a good Oracle? I do like it. I do use it. I use it with my my Llewellyn Tarot. I don't have the Celtic Tarot. I use it with my Llewellyn Tarot and they speak really, really well together, but I don't think I would repurchase. Now, moving on to... So the last couple of decks are tarot decks, and one I want to talk about at the end. This is my Shakespearean tarot. This is out of print. It's a 90s deck. I bought this from eBay and I paid quite a reasonable, the box is absolutely bashed. I paid quite a reasonable price for this. And I have it as kind of a collector's item because I love Shakespeare. And have I read with it? No, I haven't read with it. It is really nice. I've got to say, it is really nice cardstock. I should read with it. Maybe I will. Would I repurchase this? It'd have to be at the right price. I wouldn't pay silly prices for it. I bought it for, you know, a little bit cheaper than a normal tarot deck. Because it was Shakespeare, because it was kind of the 90s, and I discovered Shakespeare in the 90s. I was a theatre kid. I did Midsummer Night's Dream. I did Much Ado About Nothing. I was kind of, there was a lot of Shakespeare that I was surrounded by. So that is why I got this deck. I have it as kind of a collector's piece, and I should really read with it. It is really good cardstock. And it just feels so nice in the hand. So I probably should read with this and use it more. I just feel like if I did, I might, I don't know. But decks are meant to be used, aren't they? So would I repurchase this? This would depend on the price. If it was silly money, no, I'm not buying it. If it was roughly the same as what I paid for it last time, yeah, I would probably replace it. But, you know, for a deck that I don't really read with, there wouldn't be that much of a rush for me to replace it. If that gets, I'm not really buying things for collectors value, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's this, the box is well loved and well used. That's all I will say to that. The last one, I don't think I mentioned this in my mass market buys, but this is the Tarot of Vampires. This is the Spanish edition. You can still get this, so you can still get the Tarot of Vampires, the Spanish edition, but you can't get the English edition. or the English edition is going for silly money on, you know, all the sites and stuff like that. I did have an opportunity to get the deck and the book without a box, and I stupidly didn't snap it up straight away. Lesson learned. If you really want a deck, you snap it up straight away for the price. And don't hesitate. Would I rebuy this? Yes, I would rebuy the Spanish version again to replace the cards and have the cards. I really do like this deck. Would I repurchase if they had an English mass market version? Yes, 100% yes. And I have considered buying the English version at certain prices, but I feel a bit, you know, I feel a bit perturbed to spend all of that money on one deck. You know what I mean? And especially a deck that only recently, you know, only in the last 2 years or so was at mass market prices. So yeah, let's hope that they bring it back out like they're doing with the Llewellyn. This is a Llewellyn deck. So hopefully, I know the cards are a little bit wider with a little bit bigger with the Spanish version. I do like that because obviously you can see more. And yeah, I love it. I just don't love the fact that I have to use my phone app to read the book and things like that. But it is a really good reader and I love it. And I'm going to be using the heck out of this in the spooky season. The sun's kind of starting to really bellow down on my back now and it's getting really, really warm in here. Last one is The Shadows We Cast. This is my most recent indie purchase. It will be my last indie purchase for quite a while. Will I repurchase this? Yes, if I have the funds, because I have grown to love this deck. We started out a bit iffy. I couldn't shuffle it. I was struggling. I was kind of, you know, feeling it was a bit clunky. And then I've done some readings for others with this. And I've done moon readings for myself. And I think that that's where it's really worked when doing readings about like the new moon, the full moon, everything. I would repurchase this. I do love this deck. Again, I wouldn't pay silly money for it. I would pay the retail price. I would repurchase it. If I can't repurchase it, then that, you know, there are other decks, and that's what I've got to kind of always say that, you know, the way I think about decks is they're all kind of, it's all replaceable, and, you know, I'm not kind of coveting. Sorry, the scooter gang are out in force today. I'm not kind of precious and coveting over my stuff. If I can't get a tarot deck because I haven't got the money, I can't get that deck. If, you know, I can't repurchase this, then I'll just use another one. You know, it's just the way it is. But I do love this deck. I do think it is a really good deck for an indie deck. And as much as I say I'm a mass market girly, the quality of this is superb. You know, it does shuffle well. It's really good. The gilding is absolutely just fantastic. The box, the book, everything about it, I love. So I would repurchase it. Again, if it was just normal price and I had the means to. I'd probably have to wait till Christmas. But that is the Shadows We Cast. Now, there is another deck I forgot about. So, and there is a reason why I forgot about this, because this is the Night Visions Tarot. And the reason I forgot about this is because I've actually not read with this deck. I purchased this deck back in December. I've put it on my shelf and I forgot about it. And I've not used it. And I don't think I would repurchase this. I got this on sale. I got it at a decent price. yeah, it's got the beautiful edging. I'm no doubt that I think this is going to be a really good deck to read with. I am going to read with it more, obviously, in the darker months and things. I got it, and then I felt a little bit underwhelmed by it. I love that it all like matches up together. Like if you see there, it matches up. But I'm just, yeah, I need to spend some time. I can't make a judgment on whether I love a deck or not when I've really not given it the chance. But on my first kind of judgment now, I would say no, I wouldn't repurchase it. But I might change my mind. Another deck that I have not worked with and has been again sitting on the shelf is one that I got for Mother's Day, and that is the, you have to excuse the light, the Shadow of Darkness Oracle. My son picked this out for me. It's definitely his style. It's my style too. I need to work with this in the darker halves. I need to work with this when I want to do some shadow work. At this moment, I would probably not repurchase it. It's not grabbing me, if you know what I mean. I usually get a feeling about a deck, but I am going to spend some time with it. There are, excuse me, there are some things that have not sat right about, like, well, the creator has previously published an AI deck and then kind of, yeah, he's took it off and everything like that. And I'm no doubt this is not AI. And I'm no doubt that all of the other decks that he's produced are not AI. But I think, well, if you're willing to do it with that, and then obviously I think there's the backlash and everything, and not be transparent about that, I'm kind of a bit wary about that creator. But we will see, because as with everything, I can change my mind. Like, yeah, I can change my mind, and maybe I'm reading the situation more into it than it is. I don't know. But yeah, so I've got to spend some time. I've got to spend some time with this. I mean, they would really go together. They probably would really, really work very well together, and I probably will be using them soon. But that is the Shadow of Darkness Oracle and the Night Visions Oracle. So that concludes my whole collection video. So there are two parts to it. You've got my mass market tarot video, which I'll link in the bottom if you want to see what my collection's like. I've now got my oracles and my indie. I only have a few indie, but you know, it's growing. And yeah, so I have really enjoyed going through these decks and thinking about, you know, would I repurchase? What would I do? My thoughts behind them. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to anyone who liked, subscribed, comments. I really appreciate it. You know, you are the people that keep me kind of at this tarot table doing content and, you know, chatting in my little corner of the internet. The sun is absolutely baking on my back now. I am very, very warm. So I will leave you to just say, I hope you have a marvelous, marvelous week, and take care, my beautiful moonbeams. Catch you later.